What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. My name is JS. This is Jeff. And in honor of the Oscars, this is the first official Geekies. That's right, folks. We are doing our own award shows. We're calling it the Geekies. Before we get to all that, though, we got a bunch of stuff that we need to talk about. If you are if you're watching this and you're not already subscribed, following, liking, whatever platform you're on, click the button. It really, really helps us out. If you don't want to sit through here and watch us on YouTube, you can always go check us out. We're on all the major podcast platforms. Spotify, obviously, is the biggest platform for us. Go check us out on Spotify. Give us a follow. You can then just listen to us. You don't have to actually watch our mugs. Jeff, what's going on, buddy?
Give us a rating on Spotify too, guys. Right now, there's 2 ratings on there, and I did one.
Yeah,
make sure you give us a rating as well, and be kind. Yeah, things are going well. We're like a week away from Toronto Comic Con. I remember talking to all of you back in like November and December, and be like, "Oh, whew, got some time in between, some break,
no more
season," and now we're right back into it. So. Next week's show, gang, is just going to be me. I'm probably going to try to grab at least one guest or whatever, but it's going to be a lot of interacting with you guys, talking about our past experiences with Toronto Comic Con, what we're hoping for with this year's Toronto Comic Con. We're going to pipe in JS and them live from the venue as they're setting up. Crazy Mike and I won't be going up until the next morning. So yeah, next Thursday show is going to be a little bit kind of all over the place. It's not going to be the really well-run, structured show that you're used to getting here with the Geeks and Company. As I run to Spotify to leave a rating. Thank you, Silky C. We appreciate that. Like everything else, guys. Unfortunately, you've seen that episode of Black Mirror with Bryce Dallas Howard, where they have to rate each other on every single transaction that they're doing.
That episode is the one that I was like, you know what? This is sitting too close to home.
A little bit, right?
And I was like, no more. Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at with all this stuff. Like, no matter what platform you're seeing us on, regardless of what you're doing, for anybody to know we exist, everybody's got to be like, rating or give them a follow or subscribe or whatever. So whatever platform you happen to listen to us on, please do us a favor, follow us on that platform and give us a rating if you can. That helps us out. But that's all great. And by the way, guys, we apologize for the pre-show, because the pre-show called Technical Difficulties was nothing but that. We could not get it to work. Yeah. But JS, what in the name of all that is decent and holy are we doing tonight?
Oh, no, we're not going to tonight just yet.
This is part of tonight.
Toronto Comic Con. That's right. Jeff gave me flack earlier because I call it Comic Con.
Oh.
Because, when you live around these parts, there are no other Comic Cons than Toronto Comic Con. So when we talk about Comic Con, we're talking about Comic Con. So let us know in the comments, guys. Do you call it Toronto Comic Con, or do you just call it Comic Con?
I don't know if flack is the word I would use. I don't know if I was giving you flack. I was just pointing something out. That's all. All three of you guys just call it Comic Con, and I'm always like, "What Comic Con are you talking about?"
That is completely fair.
This
is the floor plan this year. Very, very, very similar to last year. They do have a bunch of booth in the far back corner, which is where we are. But yeah, otherwise the layout is very, very similar, and I'm trying to zoom in here, and for some damn reason, there we go. Far corner. Whoop, a little too far. There we go.
Upgrade. Shit, go back.
CM53. Can I highlight with this thing?
I don't know. Can you?
Highlight. There you go. Wow. Holy cow.
Wow, it's like a whole new map there. That highlight just did everything for us. I'm so glad you highlighted it. It's really,
you know what?
It's really highlighting it for us. It's great.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Fantastic.
It's just blowing off the screen.
Listen, guys,
it's amazing.
CM53, that's where we're set up. Just so you guys know, right diagonal to us is the Doctor Who Society. I'm not sure if they're back here or if they're on the front side. I think they're on the front side.
It looks like from their post they're on the front side. So CM10, guys, if you're looking here, if you're watching online, you'll see their CM10. And then CM52 right beside us is our good friends from the Canadian Podcast Awards.
That's right. That's right. That's going to be awesome. They were right behind us last year at Comic-Con.
Yeah, we were good enough to have John join us on the pod there a little while ago, and he went over what is going on with the Canadian Podcast Awards, what they are, how they work, and everything else. And yeah, they were fantastic neighbors to have behind us, but now they're literally going to be right beside us. So that's super fun. And then Kitty Quarter to us is going to be the Doctor Who Society. We love the Doctor Who Society folks. They're just so of everybody that comes out for the community stuff for the Doctor Who people, it always seems like they're literally there for the love of the game. Like they're so passionate about that show, and they're so passionate about showing up for the fans and doing that for the fans. And you never get the sense that like some of that elitist stuff that some of the other groups and environment and community people maybe sometimes get. They're just like so happy to be there and so happy to entertain people and so happy to bring the Doctor Who experience to that many people. So,
and I mean, they ride around in big giant Daleks all day
that's
long.
super cool.
I mean, come on, like
I know.
Do you know who's CMO1? I'm kind of assuming it's the 501st, but I haven't heard anything.
John
yet.
and I were talking about that, but that still doesn't seem like enough space for them. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going to be setting up. So I don't know. And like, I know people in the 501st, but I was thinking like maybe one of these yellow booths in here in the middle there is possibly one of theirs because that's taking up more space. Or
maybe
something.
like this one.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? I have no idea. That could also be like a giant, I don't know, fucking Funko space, or who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's or maybe right here. There's a 60-footer right here.
Yep, could be
right by the escalator. Oh, that's where they were last year.
I think that's where they were last year, so that's pretty good chance that might be them.
Okay.
Listen to this, man. Andrew,
I'll be very curious to see.
Only 20 feet. It seems they don't understand the true power of all the geekiness you'll attract. Well, I mean, from your lips.
We would love to have a ton of space. And I think we've discussed this before. It's great to have a bunch of space, but you need to have stuff to fill that space in. And it's tough to sometimes plan for those things. Let's put it that way. So a couple points of order. I think we should be discussing specifically the meetups. We got a bunch of meetups going on this year.
Where and when? By the way, guys, just as we're discussing this, I don't know. I don't think the full floor plan is out yet on the website, but the schedule is. And it does have our meetups, our hosted meetups on the schedule in their proper time slots credited to us. So you can find it on the Fan Expo website. Okay. So JS, Friday, what are we doing for a meetup?
Well, Friday's our DC day. Now, we usually do DC day on the Sunday, but what the hell? We moved it to Friday. Got a brand new DC cosplay that I'm going to be debuting at the show. If you don't already know, go check out my Instagram. Friday at 3 p.m. So that'll be a good time.
So, guys, Cosplay Photo Park is level 100. So the main cosplay area that we'll be at, the main con area is level 300. Yeah. And then where the normal cosplay red carpet is, and usually the photo park, is level 200. So that's the same level as where the hotel is.
At the bottom of the
escalators. This is like at the so this is a next level down from there. If you were at Fan Expo and you went and saw Hayden Christensen, you remember you had to go all the way kind of like in the basement of the North Building? That's where the photo park is this year. I don't think I've ever even been down there. So hopefully they'll have some signage and everybody will be able to find where to go to get down there and such.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, we'll figure it out. I mean, we'll get people down there, and if people don't know where to go, well, listen, we'll just make the damn Connor meetup.
Hey. Well, thankfully, we're not the only ones using the cosplay photo park. Like there's like all the meetups that they're doing throughout the entire weekend are all at the photo park seemingly. So yeah, we should be okay. Hopefully
Rob is saying weird place. It is a weird place. Yeah. I'm
curious now what they're going to have on that opposite wall. Like if they're still going to put the red carpet on level 200 where it was, I'm kind of curious where they had the photo park the last, I don't know how many years. I'm curious what that opposite wall area is going to be. I don't know if they're putting other vendors there, if they're putting, more like interactive booths there. I don't know, but
yeah, Andrew's saying if you've ever been to the cosplay masquerade, it's there. Yeah, that's where the theater is and the stages and the big panels and all that stuff. So
probably more Funko, says Rob the bad guy. Probably.
Yeah. So Friday's DC.
Yep. DC at 3.
I'm not going the right way.
at 3. Unfortunately,
Villains.
Beyond our control, as you'll see, each day the meetup is at a different time. So
Unfortunately,
Friday is 3:00, Saturday 1:30. Villains and monsters. Bring out your best bad guy or girl or non-binary or whatever you want to do. Your best demon, your best warthog, your best whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as you're going to be a bad guy and or gal or person, come on out. 1:30. Photo park again. So same area. So in the same area every day. It's just at different times. So
we do have to reiterate that unfortunately we will not have a photographer this year. If you are a photographer and you're watching this and you want to join in and you want to help us out with taking some pictures, hey, listen, we could probably hook you up with a pass for the weekend. But at this point, we do not have a photographer. Unfortunately, Teresa won't be able to be there, which does mean that although we are having meetups, Jeff is going to help us wrangle people. You know how Jeff is, right? He's loud enough.
Run
I'm
his
sure he can.
Goddamn mouth, doesn't he?
Exactly.
He run his goddamn mouth.
And there will be a bunch of people taking pictures. Unfortunately, if you are going to want pictures, you won't be able to find these on the Geeks & Co. Facebook page, or at least not a ton. There might be some, but whatever we get is whatever we're going to get, unfortunately. And then what's going on Sunday? Do you remember?
Sunday. So please note the picture. If you are you sound old, Jeff, the care of Miley. Yeah, I mean, because I am. Pay no attention to the post because the time has changed. So it is not at 3 p.m. It is at 11:30 a.m. So that one's going to be an early one, kids. Again, we didn't set the times. The times were set by Toronto Comic Con. There's something else going on at 3:00 that they didn't want to bump us into, which you know what, to be fair, I appreciate them not wanting to try to overlap some of the things. So that we're not directly competing with stuff. So 11:30 for Star Wars on Sunday, guys. So I'm sure we're all going to be hungover. I'm sure we're all going to be a little bit worse for wear at 11:30, but we can do this. We got this.
Yeah, I appreciate them trying to schedule this a little bit because that was a little bit of an issue we were having last year with other groups where they thought their meetup was happening, but then our meetups were happening, and then they're getting annoyed because we're taking over, and it's I don't want to be pissing anybody off, right? We're there to have fun, right? Yeah, so it's great that they're actually, even though they're changing the times that we had originally set. I mean, it is what it is.
Tan suggesting, why don't you approach Drew to at least do group picks for the meetups? I mean, we can. The worst he can say is no, I suppose. Drew Photography. He used to do, like, he brings his. Do you remember when we did Fan Expo and there was a photo booth, like kind of kitty corner to us? Our first Fan Expo, we had the booth.
Yeah.
We saw Christina shooting her Captain Carter and everything over there.
Oh, yeah.
That's Drew. So he used to do free photos. Now I think he charges for them. I don't know how much he charges or whatever, but I mean, yeah, I do know Drew. We're not close or tight or anything, but I mean, I do know him. So we could certainly ask him as far as that goes, but I have no idea,
The worst that he can do is say no.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens.
I think those are all the points of order, I think, for Comic-Con. If there's anything that I'm forgetting, I'm sure somebody will ask in the comments. That being said, Jeff, do you have any idea what we're doing tonight? You don't.
I don't have the foggiest clue.
You don't have a clue, do you, what we're doing tonight?
Idea. I don't pay attention.
You don't?
Very well. Awful.
No, that's terrible. Okay. We love you just the same, buddy.
Do you?
We do. We do.
Do you?
Do you?
I don't think you do.
Guys, in honor of Oscar week, we decided what better than to have our own little award ceremony or our own little award show. And of course, we had to call it the Geekies. That's right, guys. We're going to be handing out awards to some categories that were mainly picked, I'm not going to lie, by ChatGPT. The AI picked a lot of the categories that we're going to talk about tonight. And we're going to be talking about the movies of the last year. We're not going to be talking about movies of all time. We're just talking about the movies that came out, fantasy and sci-fi, the last year from March to March, with a bunch of categories that the AI gave us. And I picked some categories, not some categories, but some nominees. And you guys all voted for them on the Geeks & Co. Instagram page. Actually, we had a surprising amount of votes. I was shocked. Like, when I posted it at first, couple people were voting, and then I was like, oh no, like we're gonna have 3 people voting for the dude. We had a lot of people vote, so that was actually pretty cool. So all of the results that you're gonna see here tonight, you guys voted for. So the results that you picked, except for the last award. We'll talk about that one when we get there. Before we get started, Jeff, you've already seen the nominees. Is there one movie in particular that you were surprised not seeing in the nominees? Whether it be for a good category, a bad category, or some of the funny ones.
I've already seen the nominees. I have given this exactly 0 thoughts. So no, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure something might occur to me as we're going through them, but I also have the memory of a gerbil, so I don't know if that is really going to help. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. We'll get there.
I'm sure we will. We'll get through it. Do we want to get to the first category?
Sure.
Best animated features, guys. Best animated feature. I don't know why we started with this one. Usually the movies or the award shows end with the big categories. Best animated, best feature. We're starting with those here because that's how we do things. We eat our dessert first, and then we move on. Jeff, do you want to tell us a little bit about the nominees tonight? Who are the nominees?
Not really. The sequel to the hit Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now it is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the second of the proposed trilogy, the third one being Beyond the Spider-Verse. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which had a very, in fact, Spider-Verse inspired animation style, I would say is pretty fair to say. And then finally, Justice League War World. I am not going to lie. I have not seen this flick, so I am not terribly familiar with Justice League War World, unfortunately. I have seen the other 2 flicks that we had up there listed. I've not seen that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess the Justice League in it, and I'm going to guess they go to a place called War World.
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing from beginning to end, so I've only seen bits and pieces, and there's kind of a reason why I haven't watched it from beginning to end, if you ask me. Like it's not very good. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough.
But listen, there wasn't a ton of good animated fantasy or sci-fi movies this year. So, this is what we got. And I think the winner is pretty... Is there any other movie you would think that would win Best Animated Movie this year?
No. I've gone on record as saying Across the Spider-Verse might be my favorite
superhero movie
ever. Yeah. It's everything about it. The characterization, the music, the story, the moral quandary, Boy and the Heron could have been added there. Absolutely. Yeah. Actually,
there you go.
An Oscar. The Boy and the Heron was. Yeah, I mean, as far as like geeking out hard though, because these are the Geekies, I think. I don't know how geeky the Boy and the Heron is, but I can tell you, as from a geek perspective, I mean, we saw like 300 spider people on screen at one time. It's hard to kind of get around how well done this movie was, and how broad in scope it became. Because when I saw the first one, I'm like, how are they ever going to top Into the Spider-Verse? Like that, Into the Spider-Verse is so good. How are they ever going to top it? And then they were just like, hold my beer. And then they released Across the Spider-Verse. And now I'm asking the same question again. Like, how the hell are they going to top with Beyond? I don't know if they will. I hope they do. But yeah, brilliant film. I have no notes. I have no notes. That's perfect. That's exactly how that should have gone. Correct. Bravo.
There we go.
Good job.
And I want to point out, guys, that although I know the winners, Jeff has only perused the nominees and has no idea.
I didn't even. We got halfway through perusing the nominees, and I got upset, and he was like, "Well, we're not going to do any more. We're going to save this." Yeah. So I don't remember anything.
Across the Spider-Verse was so well done. I was shocked at how good it was. I don't think I blinked very much. I mean, it was amazing. It was one of the best movies, I think, of last year.
Yep, I would agree. I mean, if that movie had been up for Best Picture overall, I would not have been shocked. I don't know if they can even put animated features into Best Picture category, but
do we want to see who our nominees are for Best Picture?
By ours, by the way, I'd like to point out for anybody that's going to be upset with any of the nominees, He's saying ours. He means his, because I didn't see any of these. Sorry, guys.
Hey,
if you want to take issue with anything that was or was not nominated, take it up with that guy up there. Because
listen, nominees are nominees. The winners were voted by these guys, so I take no responsibilities here.
This is not my circus, man. I'm just the fucking clown. That's it, guys. So
there we go.
So you're covering his ass. Yeah. Someone's got to cover it. Might as well be me.
All right, Jeff, for the nominees for Best Picture.
Nominees for Best Picture: Dune Part 2.
Yeah, you should do the movie voice.
Dune Part 2. In a world surrounded by sand, one worm will turn into a by the way, you know what? Yeah, we'll get there. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the final Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and the final James Gunn film, obviously for Marvel, because now he'll be running DC, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I was a little bit surprised at what people picked here. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen Dune Part 2 yet, so I actually refrained from voting on this one because I couldn't make an informed decision. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, there's something to be said about the amount of money that movie made compared to all of the other superhero movies that have been just crashing and burning these days. They seem to be getting worse and worse. I'm assuming a lot of people, because they haven't seen Dune Part 2, are also voting for this movie. What are your thoughts there? I kind of feel like if we were to do this in 6 months, Dune Part 2 would be the winner here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, of those three films, this is actually third. I think Across the Spider-Verse is a far better film than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, don't get me wrong, but like I watched it and then I was like, okay, I saw that. That was great. That's done now. Let's move on.
I was very surprised when I saw this one.
Yeah.
There's a couple I was quite surprised by, to be honest.
Dune Part 2, I did go see it on Sunday in IMAX, by the way. If you have the opportunity, if there's an IMAX theater close to you, go see Dune Part 2 in IMAX. There's two instances in that film where the sound hits you so hard it like kind of reverberates, and there's one instance in particular where the sound physically assaults you. Like it's literally like it just pounds you in the fucking chest in IMAX, and it's glorious. That movie ended. So here's where I'm going to be real with you guys. I went and saw it with a friend of mine, and she turned to me as the movie ended, and she's like, "Are you sweating or are you crying?" And I had a couple of actual real tears on my face at the end of that film. Been waiting my whole life for a proper Dune imagining of proper Dune. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but it is. The movie's unreal. It's so good. It's long. Don't get me wrong. It's almost 3 hours long, but to me, it's worth the time. But you guys are the community, and you guys voted Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so that's what wins the best geeky picture of the last 12 months. And fuck you guys. Anyways, moving on. Hey, man, it's a good film.
Listen.
Was it the best geeky film? I don't agree, but hey, it's a good film.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I didn't see Dune. I'm hoping we're gonna be able to see it over the next couple. I hope maybe this weekend. Hey, we should go see Dune this weekend. Yeah, we need to go see that this weekend. I think Rob was out there last weekend.
Fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's but like settle in. Like it's paced very, very well, because the first movie does spend a lot of time like world building and character developing, like introducing you to all the factions, introducing you to the planet. Like it spends a lot of time just setting everything up, and then everything pays off in this film. And yet there's still room for the third film. If Denis Villeneuve is going to do Dune Messiah, that can be a thing that happens. They leave it open enough to a point where the film ends. The film still ends very satisfyingly, but it's absolutely you can continue on to Dune Messiah if you wanted to. So it doesn't feel like 3 hours. Exactly, Rob. I agree. It's paced so very, very well comparatively to the first film, because all that exposition, all that heavy setup is all already done as long as you've seen the first one. By the way, guys, I would recommend, if you have an opportunity before you go watch the second one, just watch the first one again if you can. Just so you can you go through that again, you remember all the things they set up for you, and then you get to see all the payoff happen for you in the second one. So and it's just cinematography wise for that film. It's so ridiculous. Will it be called Dune with a Vengeance? No, sir. This is not Die Hard. It will probably be called Dune Part 3, but the book it will be based on is called Dune Messiah. So
and your relation
they haven't contacted me for licensing rights. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Dune Endgame, yes.
Dune Endgame. Guys, we couldn't do an award show without doing the most cosplay worthy movie of the year. Again, all chosen by me here. But the nominees. Dune Part 2. The Blue Beetle. You know what? The Blue Beetle doesn't get enough recognition as far as I'm concerned. I love this movie. It was great. It was funny. The suit was amazing. I liked everything about this movie. More people should have been into this movie. I don't understand what people didn't like about this one, but this one was amazing. And the Marvels. Not an amazing movie. Costumes were really cool. The suits were really nice, especially when they get the new suits. Halfway through the movie, they get new suits. Those were pretty cool too. So like you see says, Blue Beetle was very entertaining movie. Definitely enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, for me, it's almost on par with Guardians 3. Like it was good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. That was I'm fine with that. And apparently he is one of the ones that is going to continue in the new DCU. You will see more of that actor playing that Blue Beetle. That comes right from James Gunn. So
yeah, I hope so. I liked it. Any predictions here? Most cosplay worthy movie of the year?
I'm going based on our customer base. I'm probably going to say the Marvels.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what the chat say, what they voted for.
Well, apparently no one saw Dune 2, so oh well, all right.
That's what people voted for. Dune 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. Their still suits.
Yeah.
I love the still suits. I kind of want to make one.
Now I kind of have to. I went into the second one with my friend, and I was like, I'm still debating between Gurney Halleck, who is Josh Brolin's character, and Duke Leto Atreides, who was played by Oscar Isaac in the first one, but spoiler alert, dies, so he's not in the second one. And we're halfway through watching Dune Part 2, and she turns to me and she's like, "You know you're Stilgar, right?" Which is the Javier Bardem character, is he's the leader of the Fremen.
Right.
He doesn't have much of a role in the first film, but he's got a big, giant, meaty role in the second film, and he's almost like he's even a bit of the comic relief in the third film, if you can believe that. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna
in the original movie anyway. I don't know about in the book, but in the original movie, his character and Paul become very close, don't they?
Yes, like in this film, like as far as Paul being the Lisan al-Gaib, or the Kwisatz, like Stilgar is the first one that kind of like buys into the fact like he is the Messiah, he is going to be the hero, like he's the chosen one. And there's a whole other faction of Fremen like, this guy's an outworlder. Who the hell is this guy? We don't know who this guy is. He's nobody. He's nothing. So Stilgar is kind of the first one to kind of adopt him. But after that, like, so then Stilgar seems to like, he gets to a point where like everything Paul does is like, oh, as it is written, it's a sign. Like Paul farts and he's like, oh, as it was written. It was like, he's like that guy, right? So it gets to be a little bit.
So are you saying I should be cosplaying as Paul and then fart at you and then you'll just be praising
and I'll be
me?
like, as it is written, he's the chosen one.
Yeah, I mean, I really would love to make one of those still suits. I would also love to make one of the armors, the Atreides armor.
The Atreides armor, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't really see any of the Atreides armor in the second one. You only see those suits in the first one.
Yeah, well, that's a shame.
Yeah,
that's a shame. But hey, I mean, I get it because after that, it's the Atreides are gone, right? It's the Fremens versus the.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Good on you guys. Good on you guys for picking that. That's great because the costuming in that film is fucking phenomenal. So nice job, guys. Ice Kavoy saying that she's tempted to do one of Princess Irulan's outfits because chainmail. Yes, her battle outfit was very, very cool towards the end of the film. Jamie saying she's done with work. That's good. Michael Icon saying he farts a lot. That's wonderful. Thanks for that, Michael. You always bring such great things to our program.
Mm-hmm.
And Tanith agreeing, saying it's a true story. And then Marvel Queen 1988, who I believe is Mrs. Groot, is saying Marvels with a thumbs up. I think as far as like ease of, I think you guys can probably get into some of the suits from the Marvels for like if you guys are getting into Zentai suits, which by the way, if you're not sure how to get into a Zentai suit, we have a video on the Geeks & Co. YouTube channel about how to get into a Zentai suit.
It's funny you say that. I think they made a great move. Halfway through the movie, they give them new suits, and they're perfect designs for Zentai suits.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you get a Zentai suit, and it would look exact, right?
You could probably get into doing the Marvels for like $100 or less.
Yeah,
just getting yourself like a decently made Zentai suit from like a print costume or a Hero's Time or whatever. At least 150 or less, like for sure. If you want a custom suit, you can probably get a pre-made one for like $80. So, and you could be doing that. So as far as ease of, I'm willing to bet you, because let me tell you, them Dune 2 costumes are not going to be 80 to 150 bucks.
No,
those things are going to be expensive. I did some research. I reached out to our Jolene. Jolene has a still suit, but hers is completely custom made from the ground up, like molds and castings and like a whole like she's like, I'll loan you the molds. I'm like, I'm not making anything that's going to be tragic. I don't have that in me. But Pro Cosplay has got a still suit that looks like it's at least decent. So my suit from Marvels is going to be well into $300. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't spend more on it. I'm just saying you could get into a Marvel Zentai suit for relatively inexpensive. So
and guys, if you want to know everything about Zentai suits, make sure you go check out the Geeks & Co. YouTube channel. Jeff made a great PSA video just a few weeks ago. All the must-knows about Zentai suits, the do's and don'ts, what it's going to cost you. Go check it out. It's a fantastic video. You're actually going to see more of those videos coming from Jeff, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I got a couple of them already pre-recorded, so we're just waiting on the edits to finish. And then I got a couple of more in mind that I'm going to record soon, probably this weekend, actually. So what about my Royal Paul uniform? Yeah, I know how much that cost you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the Dune stuff is going to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah,
cosplay,
for sure.
The costumes do look very, very cool.
Ooh,
so bad I laughed.
So bad I laughed award. Now again, I'll admit that I picked the awards, or not the awards, the nominees for this based on what I read online. Because there are some that I personally haven't seen here. But Jeff, do you want to tell us about the nominees?
The Marvels.
Yeah, this was not a great movie.
I've not seen it, so I don't.
So we watched it just last week.
I haven't seen Ms. Marvel either, so I'm a little.
I don't think you need to see Ms. Marvel to see this. I will admit, seeing this has now made me kind of want to go check out Ms. Marvel. She was the best part of this movie by far. She was funny as hell. I mean, she was the best part of the movie. The movie was a little dumb, but she was amazing. I thought she was good. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
You thought this was so bad you laughed?
No, you know what? I haven't seen this. And a lot of people are saying how bad this is. Personally, I don't know, because I think that from what I heard, from personal of what I heard, people that I know that have actually seen this, they thought this was better than the last one. Now, is it as good as the first? Well, exactly. Anything's better than the last one. Was it as good as the first or second? Not even on the same level.
Yeah, Thor said she enjoyed the Marvels. Thor: Love and Thunder would have been a much better pick in this category for sure.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the last year.
Oh, well, then there you go. That would be why.
So, and finally, Madam Web,
which I haven't seen,
was in contention for the flop of the year.
Sydney, whatever her name is, Sydney Sweeney, who's in Madam Web, just hosted Saturday Night Live, and in her monologue, she said, "You guys may have seen me in some rom-com that she did. There's something about you or whatever it is, and you guys definitely did not see me in Madam Web." She took a shot at her own movie.
Yeah.
I knew this was going to spark some conversation. So what do we want to talk about? Because people clearly want to talk about the Marvels, and this is the biggest thing I've seen as far as opinions about the Marvels go. Or do we want to talk about Indiana Jones, or do we want to just move on to the next category?
That's what we're here for, bud. We could talk about any of them.
Well,
the people voted Madam Web.
Let's discuss Madam Web. So this is from for those of you that don't know, this is from Sony's Spider-Man universe, or the SSMU, I think they're calling it now.
Is that
no SSU? Yeah, Sony Spider-Man universe, SSU is what they call it. So because all of these films are meant to be interconnected. So again, for those of you that don't know, Marvel was going broke back in the 90s and they were going to be declaring bankruptcy. So they sold off the movie rights to Fox and to Sony. So that's why the X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four, that's why those were all done by Fox. And then Sony got Spider-Man and the Tobey Maguire films and then the Andrew Garfield films. Those were all made by Sony. And now the current Spider-Man films with Tom Holland are a collaboration between Marvel and Sony. But Sony still has the rights to movie Spider-Man in perpetuity, and that includes all of the Spider-Verse films that we all just talked about, how amazing they are. As Silky literally says, Sony needs to just stop. I disagree. All the best Spider-Man things that you've ever seen on film have all been produced by Sony. Every single last minute of amazing Spider footage, regardless of what it is by Sony. Yes, the spin-off films have been stinkers. And by spin-off films have been stinkers, I mean 2 of them.
Yeah, because the Venom movies weren't bad.
The Venom movies did well financially. They were middling reviews, and people are like, they're fun popcorn movies. Just turn your brain off and enjoy. Did Morbius and Madam Web get savaged for being bad films and they bombed at the box office? Absolutely. Sure they did.
Yeah.
Yes. But as far as like a track record goes, Sony's kicked a lot of ass as far as putting out Spider-Man films go. 3 of the original with Tobey, and then 2 with Andrew Maguire, and now 3 with Tom Holland, and then the Spider-Verse films. I mean, and then the Venom films. Yeah, Sony's got a pretty brilliant track record as far as putting out films of this nature goes. They've had 2 big missteps, and now everybody's like, "Fuck Sony, they got to stop that." No, man, it's okay. They've made way more good things than bad things. So,
I think people also have to know that Sony's in a situation right now where they have to keep making movies.
Correct.
If they stop, if they stop making movies within the Spider-Man universe, they will lose the rights to them.
God, it's Andrew Garfield, Jeff. Why? What am I saying? Am I not saying Andrew Garfield? I know I said Tobey Maguire. Did I not say Andrew Garfield? Maybe I said somebody else. I don't know. I'm old, man. Cut me some slack.
Either way, Sony kind of has to make these. So while they've got projects that will be fantastic and you could tell they're made with some heart, you have other projects that are just thrown together because they have to make them or else they'll lose the rights. And this is what this looks like.
Yep. Because we still have Craven to come. And if the trailer for that is any indication, that's going to be just as big a steaming pile as this and the last. By the way, guys, I'm saying this is a big steaming pile. I've not seen Madam Web. Despite the fact that Sydney Sweeney's in it, I have not seen this film. So I have no idea if it's any good or not. But the critics hated it and nobody went and saw it and it bombed financially. So I think it's fair to say it's probably not a great film, but
yeah,
I didn't think Morbius was all that bad either. And I thought Matt Smith did an amazing job in Morbius. I just think they relied a little bit too heavily on the CGI in Morbius and the story wasn't the best story that they could have possibly written, but Matt Smith was fantastic. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't even know he was in the movie. I've never actually watched it.
It's believe it or not, it's not that bad. They just made they made a conscious choice to make it so that when they become vampires, that it's pure CGI at that point. And they are vampires a lot in the film. So it's really like jarring. And then Matt Smith was the reason I saw Morbius. Yeah. You don't have to be a big Jared Leto fan. I know he's got his fans and he's got his detractors, but Matt Smith does a very good job with that villain role. So if you want to see Matt Smith be a bad guy, see Morbius. And you'll probably see it and you'll be like, all right, that wasn't great, but that wasn't as bad as everybody was making it out to be. And you know what? Maybe Madam Web's the same thing. Because you guys are saying all that stuff about the Marvels. And the Marvels got savaged by the critics and bombed at the box office too. But everybody's like, I saw it. It was okay. Well, apparently not enough of you felt that way because it got savaged by the critics and it bombed at the box office. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and
photo. Sam, do me a favor. Sorry, Sam, remind me. I have to have a conversation with you about a project. So I have to reach out to you. So remind me to do that.
Yes, definitely.
Anyways, please continue.
A couple of things, guys. If you did not know, our buddy Noah, Freakish Workshop, he's doing another giveaway. Well, we're collabing and doing another giveaway. So he's made what he's calling a Neo Samurai tactical helmet. which actually looks pretty cool. It's like a military tactical helmet, but in a samurai style. He's giving it away. Obviously, he's got the patterns up for sale on his his Etsy. But he did put a helmet together. I believe he did film the process as well, so that you can see how it's built when you buy the patterns. But the actual finished helmet we are going to be giving away at Toronto Comic Con. So, guys, if you want to get your hands on that helmet, come on by. 100% of the proceeds are going to the Ronald McDonald House charities. So come on by and buy some tickets. It's for the kids. We're going to be selling some pepperettes. What's the other thing too? Chocolates, all for charity. We got a bunch of charity stuff that we're going to be selling. So nice. And it says remind him, Sam, because he's old. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, that's why I said it out loud. So that we have a visual record of me saying to Sam, I need to talk to him.
Yeah. Finally, guys, if you did not know, I don't know what cave you're living under because we've been posting about it constantly. We are having a bit of an after party on Saturday of Comic-Con. Sorry, Jeff, on Saturday of Toronto Comic-Con.
That's never getting old. That's never getting old. By the way.
Guys, this is not going to be a club style party, right? This is an opportunity for all of us to go out, get some food after a long day at the con, get a bunch of beers, hang out, come on out. It'll be a fun time. We've got a whole area basically reserved for us. So that should be a good time. There's already a bunch of people that have confirmed they're going to be there. So don't hesitate, guys. We will be there.
You guys have your t-shirts and hoodies at the show. As a community booth, we cannot sell for-profit goods at the booth. If you pre-order your stuff, I don't know if, there's not enough time now, unfortunately. But for future shows, if you pre-order at a show, we can bring whatever you pre-ordered to the show and give it to you there. But we can't sell items at the booth.
Correct.
They're very clear with us on that because they're giving us the booth space for free. They don't want to give us free vendor space, basically. So I'm so down for this party, says Ribbon Glassworks. Absolutely.
But I think the point is that a lot of people are wanting t-shirts and hoodies for the show. So put your order in.
I mean, I'm not saying there couldn't be some back alley deals. I'm not saying like there couldn't be some after party sales. I'm not saying there couldn't be of pre-con sales, like meet me in the front lobby and I'm happy to sell you a t-shirt or hoodie. We just can't do it at the booth. I didn't say anything that you just heard. Culpability, deniability, all that stuff. So what were we really talking about?
We were talking about the Geekies 2024, folks. That's right. Jeff, the next category, best interpretation of a non-human character. This is a funny one that the AI spit out.
Who came up with these categories? This is the AI. This is
the AI came up with these categories. And
I thought the AI was supposed to be like machines that would do all the manual labor for us, and we'd kick back and make beautiful art and music. And now it's like the exact fucking opposite of
well,
that.
Hey, if you say so.
The AI is making art and music, and us schlubs still got to go fucking drive forklifts every day. Like, this is horseshit.
Hey, listen. There were a couple of actually pretty good characters this year that came out. I know how you felt about one of the movies in this category. So
do you? Transformers: Rise of the Beasts,
Optimus Prime
film. So
I will tell you this: out of all of the Transformers movies, all of them, this is by far the best. By far the best. All of the designs have gone back to more original G1 Transformer styles. They brought in a bunch of characters from different series, primarily Beast Wars and G1. Listen, this I loved this movie.
I can tell.
This is what the Transformers movie should have been when Michael Bay first made the first Transformer movie. This is what it should have been. Gotcha. Whoever made this movie, way better than Michael Bay. And let's be honest, Peter Cullen, I mean, as Optimus Prime. Mikey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know you didn't like this movie.
I sure didn't.
I loved this movie. I thought it was a great reinvention of the Turtles while still keeping the essence of who they are. Specifically Mikey. I can't remember who was the voice actor for him, but A1, if you ask me. And finally, our buddy Swole Groot. I wrote Swill Groot on the website when I asked people to vote. And I'm sorry, folks. I mean, I did mean Swole Group. I think everybody understood.
I'm sure
they talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is for me. I think the coolest Groot of all the Groots we've had so far.
I still didn't really get like the complete like I understand that's not the original Groot, and it's essentially like, I don't know what you'd even call it, like the son of Groot or the seed of Groot or whatever. It's just weird that it's like they completely reimagined or redid the character from this almost gentle giant and then it became this weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love the change that they made. I was hoping he was gonna come back as like our Groot, and it turns out he was like a completely different character that just happened to look kind of like, but not even really a lot like the first Groot. So
yeah, he doesn't really look a lot like him at all, especially by the end of the movie, because he's the big giant thing at the end.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
But still, I thought in terms of attitude and in terms of the action.
Hey, let me guess who won this. Let me fucking amazing. Sure, do you have a prediction? My way into fucking a guessing prediction. Who I can't imagine. What got voted for best picture? Oh, this silly thing. Gee, I wonder who won this category. Would it be this silly thing right here? Oh, what a shock, guys! My disappointment is immeasurable, and my evening is ruined.
Well, who would you have voted for?
Does it matter? Who cares?
Well, there you go.
Oh, Jesus, you fucking... back in the 90s, back in the 80s and 90s...
Look at this guy.
Back in the 80s and 90s, if you were a comic book collector and you collected Marvel comics, by the way, you only collected Marvel. And we had a name for people like you. You were called Marvel Zombies. Before Marvel Zombies was a thing in the comics, if you were just one of those people who are just like, I love everything Marvel, I only collect Marvel, and just shit on and dislike everything else, that's what we called you guys. We called you guys Marvel Zombies, the rest of the comic book community.
Who is
and
you
now
guys?
I get the sense.
Who is you guys?
People that just blindly love everything that Marvel does.
Right.
That's the you guys. So you guys that voted for Guardians of the Galaxy as the best geeky picture of this year. Unreal. And then you voted as Groot as the best fucking non-human character. I'm all...
Guys, he's calling you out.
I'm all done with you guys.
Just saying.
I'm calling all you guys
out.
I'm leaving in a huff. That's what's happening right now.
Instead of leaving in a huff, how about you tell us about the next category here?
The best design, ships, worlds, and costumes.
I'm thinking you can see a pattern here.
Dune Part 2. Tana says Marvel for life. Again, I understand. Rebel Moon, which no one was ever going to vote for anyway, because the guy that did that film is a very polarizing figure.
Yeah, and have you even watched this yet?
I did watch Rebel Moon. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And you know that there is a director's cut of this movie coming?
There is going to be, yep. And there's still a part 2 to come as well. So,
and there is still a part 2 to come as well. Yeah, this is technically called Rebel Moon Part 1.
Megan Murray. This lie, Groot's not even the best non-human in the Guardians. Agreed. This reminds me of an interview that I think happened in the 70s. They were talking to the Beatles before the Beatles broke up, and one of the interviewers asked, maybe it was in the 60s, one of the Beatles asked, is Ringo Starr the best drummer in the world? And John responded, Ringo isn't even the best drummer in the Beatles. So that's what this reminds me of, that Groot's not even the best non-human. Yeah. How was Rocket not in that category? How did you have Swole and you didn't have Rocket?
Well, that's okay, right, because guess what?
He was the focus of the whole plot of the fucking...
You know what? I was trying to work the dog in. I'll be honest. I was trying to work the dog in, but I ended up with Groot. Our third nominee here.
Do you people see what I have to work with here? Do you see this shit? Do you get why I'm just a bitter, angry old man all the fucking time?
Here we go.
Do you see why I drink myself stupid every weekend? Well, this guy right here. You know, this guy up here.
You know, Jesus sometimes wept. That's okay though, you know?
Sorry. What were we talking about? Let me guess.
Guardians of the Galaxy
Volume 3 won this category. I'm shocked, guys. I'm shocked. I'm so.
Everybody voted for Guardians of the Galaxy. Every category that is in, people voted for, which was weird because for a while it was last in almost every category, and then all of a sudden, over the day, it just exploded.
Yeah, Steve probably called all his friends, like, get on this account now and vote for Guardians immediately.
So it's all Steve's fault.
It is all Steve's fault. Collaborated cosplay. So they did a major disservice to Groot when this guy appeared on the screen. Listen, I guess like Megan nailed it. He's not even the best non-human character in that movie, and he's not. But hey, here we are. You all agreed. This is what fan voting does. The fans have spoken.
There you go.
We have to agree.
Hey, argue with the fans, bud.
Was the best ship and costumes and.
I'll say this: if you don't agree, you should vote next time.
I should vote next time. I'm sure my one vote would have swayed this whole thing. I didn't vote, says collaborated cosplay. I call bullshit. Look at the winky face on the I didn't vote. Okay.
I was biased, so I stayed out of it.
Lies. He voted. He got his wife to vote. He got his kids to make accounts. They voted. Yeah, I'm not dumb. I know how this works. He's telling his massage people, like as he's massaging his clients, he's like, okay, go to this account, watch the story, vote on Groot. Yeah. Brother, please. Can we condense the nonsense? I didn't vote because I didn't want to be biased. Shut up.
Well, then who would you have voted for? Who would you
in
have
that
voted for?
Which in those
three?
I don't even remember what they were. Oh, I probably would have. Oh, sorry, I probably would have voted for Rebel Moon. Yeah.
Oh,
as far as ship design and costume design and such, yeah, definitely, yeah. From those three, yeah, Rebel Moon.
Yeah,
sure.
Over Dune.
Costume design was definitely Dune, but ship design, you really only ever. There's only like, especially in Dune Part 2, there's the Emperor's ship, and then there's some other like, just regular like.
Yeah, fair enough. Because again, they're at
not a lot
war
of
at
ships
the
in
end.
Dune Part 2. Yeah, so. Yeah, I would probably have voted for Rebel Moon. Yeah, but anyways, regardless.
Interesting. I'm a little bit surprised as well that Guardians won that.
Are you?
I am, really? Especially how gorgeous the first Dune was. I haven't even seen the second one, and I assume people would vote for that.
Nope. Unwashed heathens. I'm so out of here if you keep up the Groot bashing. I'm sorry that the truth hurts your feelings. All right. But I'm not here to cater to your feelings. I'm here to announce the outstanding achievement in witty one-liners. That's what I'm here for.
I'm going to say I was extremely surprised by this one. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yeah. Blue Beetle, which was literally all one-liners.
George Lopez, that's all he did. He was just a one-liner machine.
It was so funny. It was such a one-liner fest.
Agreed.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they also had a lot of great one-liners. Actually, I had to go back and start researching one-liners a little bit, and this movie had a lot of good one-liners as well. But for me,
you don't have RDJ anymore, so now you got to kind of figure out who's going to be the new king of throwaway one-liners in these films, right? Like he was so good at that and delivered them so well and so rapid fire all the time, right? It's hard to top what he did. I rigged this shit so bad. Yeah, I'll bet. Hold on. Do I have to do my amazing Kreskin routine again to wonder who's going to win this category? Hold on. Who could possibly have won this category? Let me guess. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? What a fucking shock. What are we doing? Why did you put this movie in every category just so it will win everything and you can watch my head explode? Is that all this is? Is this some clickbait bullshit because people get to watch Jeff have a fucking meltdown on the podcast?
I swear, Jeff, I was trying to rig this slightly, and I was putting Guardians in a lot of these categories as fillers, and somehow that's what people voted for.
You're killing me, Smalls.
What can I say? Guardians of the Galaxy fucking Volume 3. I mean, it was a good movie. But yeah, I'm gonna blame it on Steve. I'm gonna blame it all on Steve.
It's fine. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. How could I possibly? Okay, right now, without looking it up, Okay? You cannot look. Don't Google anything. I want you in the chat to hit me with one witty line from that film. Go. Don't Google it. Don't cheat. Give me one witty line from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. One. That's not a witty line. I am Groot is not a witty line.
I mean, that's kind of my issue with this is, yeah, it was a great movie and it had some good jokes, but I don't know. I mean,
Open
listen,
the
the people
door.
voted.
It is the first F-bomb in the MCU.
It is, for sure.
I don't know if that's terribly witty, but at least it was shocking. I'll give you that.
It made everybody laugh. It was like, but yeah, I don't know. All right, should we just move on?
Yeah, I'm just gonna zen all this shit out.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna like this one. Worst reboot, sequel, or requel.
What is a requel? Is that like a reboot?
So a requel is a soft reboot.
Okay.
Where it's a reboot, but in a continuation of
like the Suicide Squad versus Suicide Squad.
More like Ghostbusters Afterlife versus Ghostbusters, or
you don't consider that just a straight up sequel?
Yes and no. I mean, it is a bit of a reboot in the sense that it's a whole new main cast. All new adventure. The same with the
Suicide Squad, right? The Suicide Squad still had characters from the original film. In fact, Harley lasted the whole film in the second film too,
I guess
right?
that would be a requel.
Kind of a requel. I got you.
Yeah.
But a straight up sequel, we're assuming is more like a Star Wars level, like where it's going to be like
correct. It's part two
characters, and then part two, right?
Kind of like Jurassic World versus Jurassic Park. Yeah, that's same idea, right? It's a reboot, but within the world,
within the same world,
within the same universe.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to be able to encompass everything, right? Again, there was a bunch of movies that I wanted us to talk about. Guys, just if I'm 100% honest, the reason why I picked a lot of these movies was just so that we would talk about them. It's very plain and simple, right?
Yeah. And all we've done is talk about Guardians of the fucking Galaxy.
But one that was pretty bad that we didn't talk about was Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which I tried watching and I didn't like it at all. It was just like I smoked a big one, watched about 40 minutes, and I was like, I've had enough, and I stepped away. What about you? Did you like this movie?
Let's get. I got a lot to say about this one, so let's get through the category. Let's get through the other nominees in this category.
The Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I completely botched in the the poll. I think I said something like songs and birds.
Did anybody see this? Because I don't think it did that bad. Like, I think it actually did okay.
Oh, apparently it's terrible.
That's because that's like the consensus I've seen on it is like it's okay, and that it's done okay financially too. Like I think it's actually made a bit of money this one. So
it hasn't lost money. You're correct.
Yeah,
you are correct. And then Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. I think
I like that film, so I'm still kind of surprised that this is two different categories where it's like we're shitting on that film. That film is actually quite decent. So
yeah.
That would not have been my of these three. It's easily Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, because holy fucking shit, is Aquaman that movie terrible?
Kingdom. Yeah,
is that movie ever goddamn terrible? And I, by the way, really enjoyed the first one.
I love the first one.
So this is the argument. I remember we had a podcast and we were talking back in the day, and we were talking about, actually, I think it was the top 10 list of DC movies, and Aquaman wasn't on that top 10 list. And when we talked about it, I had mentioned the fact that the movie made over $1 billion at the international box office. And the argument was, well, that's because it had Jason Momoa in it, and he was a big star, and a big star can get a movie to make $1 billion more. Guess what? Well, no. By the way, that was yours and your wife's arguments as to why it made all the money, because it had Jason Momoa in it. Well, it was in this one too, and he's even playing the same character. This movie did not make $1 billion worldwide, kids. It didn't even break $500 million worldwide. Do you know why? Because it was dog shit. And I really dug the first one, and I was really looking forward to seeing Yaya being the main bad guy as Black Manta. Turns out he wasn't the main bad guy. The main bad guy was some fucking CGI creature that we got to see for like 5 minutes at the end, and that dies really fast. Terrible. This movie is terrible from front to back. The whole thing's terrible. There's nothing redeeming about this film other than Patrick Wilson's in it, and I love Patrick Wilson. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
you couldn't even get through it.
No.
That's how bad this film is.
Yeah. Yeah, right from the beginning, it's you know.
I want this to be a lesson to everybody that starts putting up an argument that, well, the movie was only good or only made money because of the star, because of who was in it. This movie was a sequel to a smash hit movie that had the same star and basically the same cast, and it bombed and everybody hates it. So you still have to have a good film. The bones of the film still have to be there. It's either got to be entertaining, compelling, funny. It's got to have something that's going to draw you in and keep you entertained for that time. And this movie doesn't do any of that. It's just, and by the way, it's almost like Momoa's playing a completely different character. Because in the first film, he was still finding his way. He was grounded. He was angry. He was trying to figure out where he was. He really did feel like a man split between two worlds. And in this film, he's none of those things. He's just a goofy idiot. And it doesn't work.
Yeah, they bored him a little bit.
Marcy, because of Amber Heard. No, she's barely in the film. That's not what made this film bomb. This film bombed because it sucked and it was terrible. Oh, and apparently JS is.
Oh. Wow, hi. I don't know what happened there.
How you doing? I don't know either. You were just gone. I was like, yeah. Did my fucking internet go out again? And then I'm like, no, wait a minute. I'm still
sure
here.
What the heck happened there? I hope we're back, guys.
Yeah. Well, I hope we're back too. Yeah. With Silky's like, well.
Yeah, I hope we're back. I hope
we're leaving on a bad note.
Yeah, I hope everything is
right. No, we're still here. I promise we're still here.
We're still here. It was so bad it broke the stream.
It was still bad. We're done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Christina's saying that's technical difficulties. Yeah, I mean, holy cow. Yeah. It's been one of those nights, hasn't it? Guys, there's only one more category after this, and this is not a category that was voted on. It was a category that I knew we were gonna need to talk about this movie. And I wasn't sure if we were going to have a chance to talk about it based on who was winning or not. I think there is no denying that in 2023, 2024, there's one movie that's lost more money than any other movie this year, potentially in a long time. We're going to give that movie the flop award. And unfortunately, that movie has to go to the Marvels. Now, the Marvels lost $75 million on their main production budget, which means they apparently could have lost upwards of $150 million when you calculate marketing budgets and all that stuff. This movie didn't do well at all. It costs Disney a lot of money. And it wasn't like the worst Marvel movie. Like, it really did badly, and I don't think it deserved to be that bad, because there are other Marvel movies that I think are way worse than this movie that have made way more money. What are your thoughts about this movie?
I think we talked about it before, and I know some people were like, well, the right wing guy, like the incels and the right wing guys basically crashed this film. And if you folks that are saying that want to give that group that much power and that much credit that they could just decide what's going to be good or not for everybody else, I'd be really careful on giving them that much power and that much credit. That's not what happened. The marketing for this movie was fucking terrible. There were people the week this came out that were big, huge Marvel heads that didn't even know this movie was coming out. The trailers were all over the place. You had one funny trailer, you had one serious trailer. They didn't know what this movie was supposed to be or the audience it was supposed to appeal to. It was a case of poor marketing, and then the people that were going to see it and coming out of it weren't all that jazzed to see it. I think it got a B or a B plus or something like that as far as the cinema score goes, or maybe it was a C. Whatever it wasn't enough to carry word of mouth to bring people that maybe hadn't seen the trailers or whatever into the theaters to watch it. And we've talked about this, by the way, guys, ad infinitum. They're not making these movies for us, for the fans. They have to make these movies to appeal to the general public that doesn't know a lot about these films. That's who everybody in this chat is a fan of these things. They're not making these for you. They're going to get your money regardless. They need to make this movie so that Joe Q Public on this, or Jane Q Public on the street, sees a trailer and wants to go see it, or hears it from a friend that got dragged to it that wants to go see it. And that did not happen.
Unfortunately, the regular Joe Public doesn't want to go see a superhero movie about a superhero he doesn't know anymore. Right? There's too much. There's too many superhero comic book movies. There's too much going on. The average Joe Blow doesn't know who these characters are and doesn't care about these characters, right? They'll go see the X-Men. They'll go see Deadpool. You know what I mean? They'll go see Iron Man. But all of these other characters that used to be side characters, we used to call them B characters.
Right.
Nobody cares about
to
those.
To be fair,
right?
So Iron Man was a B character, and so was Captain
100%. So Marvel did a great job. So was Captain America, right?
Here's the key difference. And you guys are talking about, and I agree with you, the marketing was fucked up and the Marvels was terribly advertised. I get all that. But none of that would have mattered if the first people going into that film saw that film and said, this is amazing, and told all their friends how amazing it was, and they needed to go see it. That did not happen. That's how movies that get advertised badly that still end up being huge hits. Even the first Iron Man, no one knew the first Iron Man was going to make any money whatsoever. It had a discredited actor that they had to fight to get onto the screen in the first place. That Jon Favreau had to put his life and his fucking movie career on the line to put Robert Downey Jr. in that role because Disney absolutely did not want him there. That movie, if Iron Man is shit, none of this happens. So the problem is people went into this movie and the first groups of people that went in and went and saw it, the John Q. Publics were like, yeah, it's not good. And then nobody went and saw it. That's how this works, guys. Could they have done a better job marketing the film? Absolutely, they could have. Would that have saved this from being a giant flop? No. Yeah, you're saying, I don't believe people anymore. People came out of Aquaman saying it was awesome. Would you like to know the truth behind that? Aquaman made more money than the Marvels. So there were people that enjoyed Aquaman.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
People like to shit on 2016 Suicide Squad. 2016 Suicide Squad made $750 million at the box office. There is a huge chunk of the populace that loves 2016 Suicide Squad. The geek and nerd community fucking hates it. But again, it comes back to they're not making it for you.
Yeah.
They're making it for people to go out and see. And people went out and saw that film and had fun. And they went back and saw it. And they told their noob friends to go see it. Their muggle friends to go see it. And their muggle friends did go see it. And it made a shitload of money. A shitload of money. It made the same money Guardians of the Galaxy made. And everybody loves that goddamn film, apparently, as we saw tonight. I'm talking about the first one, obviously.
And this lost a boatload of money.
So
a boatload of money.
A boatload. A boatload is correct. Worldwide, this movie, the Marvels made $200 million.
Yeah, $199.
If you'd like some perspective on that, by the way, that's about the same amount of money worldwide that Green Lantern made. If you need some perspective on how badly this film performed, that's how badly the film performed. And by the way, it opened to nearly 50 million its opening weekend. So, and that's domestic, by the way. So its domestic opening was it was 46 million, and its entire run, it only made 84 million. So what happened is exactly what I said happened. People went out and saw it the first weekend and then told their friends not to go see it because it wasn't good.
Yeah, Christina is saying it's bigger than that. It actually hurt the Marvel brand. I mean, it did. I think it did.
I mean, I think the Marvel brand was already kind of on the ropes by that point. But
I mean, you're right.
It sealed its
yeah, fate. Yeah. It's 100%. 100%. Guys, thanks so much for checking out the first official edition of the Geekies. I mean, I had a good time. Always a good reason to talk about any of the movies that have come out in the last year or so. Any other points that you want to talk about for next week or for Comic-Con itself? Sorry, for Toronto Comic-Con.
That's so cute. You're going to do that every time.
Every time now.
A couple of reminders. So, as we discussed earlier, JS will not be here physically. He will not be at his desk with his cool ass Predator costume behind him. In fact, that Predator costume is not going to be there either. Why? Because he's already going to be at Toronto Comic Con, setting up the booth. I will not be going up Thursday night. I will not be going up until Friday morning at the crack of dawn with Crazy Mike Cosplay. So, we will be having a Toronto Comic Con pre-show on Thursday. It may literally just be me. I might be pulling a Myers Corp here and just doing it by myself and just interact with you guys because I'm going to be piping JS and them in from the con live to join us that way, but they won't be sitting here like this in the regular format. I might bring a guest in with me. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If you guys have some ideas on how you think next week's show should go, let me know. I'm open to ideas. I'm probably going to say no to all of them because you all voted for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in every category. And your judgment cannot be trusted. And then, of course,
we're going to pop in live as well.
As we're going to try to do, we will try to be going live from the con each individual day. Now, again, with the different times of the meetups, that might make a consistent time for the podcast to be a little more difficult. But our plan as it stands right now is to do the podcast towards the end of each day. So probably somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock towards the end of each day. So each podcast will be sort of a wrap up of that day's activities. So watch out for the lives. The lives actually do pretty well for us when we do the lives from the show floor. It's going to be more of a wrap-up show at the end of each individual day. And I can tell you a little bit of some preview news. I had a meeting last night with our friends at the London Brewing Cooperative here in London, Ontario, and they are psyched, geeked out for May the 4th, part 2. So it is Saturday this year. It is also, by the way, guys, the same day as Free Comic Book Day. It is the first Saturday in May. So it's like this weird geek eclipse thing, whatever, convergence of
means we'll be able to do both.
So the plan right now is for us to spend the morning going to downtown London, where they shut down roads. Like, it's a big deal in London for Free Comic Book Day.
I'm surprised how big it is. Like, we don't have anything like that around here. They literally shut down the roads.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. And so we'll do that probably till about noon, and then we're going to go right to London Brewing Co-op, and we're going to get everything set up for you guys. The event is going to start at 3 o'clock on May the 4th. We're going to start a Star Wars bingo at 4 o'clock. That's probably going to be run till about 5 o'clock. And then we're going to have Star Wars based trivia. That's going to start at 7 and probably run till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. There's going to be raffles again. There's going to be a new beer brewed, a new Geeks & Co. beer. And take heart, dear friends, if you missed out on getting to try the Honey Lager last year, they said they're going to make a batch 3 times the size that they made last year for this year's new exclusive Geeks & Co. London Brewing Co-op collaborative beer. Watch out for some merch that's possibly going to be involved in there. Again, we'll have the raffles. We'll be working with Dad Club again, so it's all the money is going to go towards the Ronald McDonald House charity. We are, if anybody's interested, by the way, I'm going to throw this out here to the chat as well while you guys are watching. We are looking to spice it up a little bit this year. We'd like to run it almost like a little mini con. They have a spot out in the back that's a covered patio where they've got picnic tables set up where you can set up vendor spots. There's 8 to 10 spots back there. We would like to set up vendors for those spots. Our good friend Megan Murray here, as part of the Geeks & Co., has already agreed to vend in one of the spots. I'll just tell you guys right now, real quick. We're offering the spots for $25 per spot. That $25 is going right to the charity. We're not pocketing any of that money. So we're going to get a head start on our charitable donation. So for $25, you get a picnic table turned sideways. You can set that up any way you want, and vend your wares. So if you are a vendor, or if you know anybody that would be interested in vending on May the 4th, please have them reach out to myself or the Geeks & Company, and we will get you registered and set up for that.
And even better, dress up, come on out, come drink some beer.
Drink some beer, play some bingo, play some games. There'll be a food truck there, so the food will be there as well.
Yeah, because their kitchen is closed apparently, right? Which is too bad, because their food was actually pretty good, if I remember correctly. But
you don't remember correctly. Their food was terrible. So, but
okay.
It was terrible. So the truck they're bringing us called Chow, and it might be the best food truck in the city. It's really, really good. Cannot recommend that enough. But please, guys, come out and support the cause, support the charity. We'll be doing the raffle again for the various prizes. We got to reach out to some local businesses to see what can be donated. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So
I think you also said they're trying to make the beer available ahead of time.
We talked about it at the meeting, so there's still some things that are kind of in flux. That was the first meeting we had for the year, but yes, they would like to pre-release the beer to help drive sales and help drive
that'd be amazing
awareness. So anything that you guys can do, obviously come on out, dress up, but sharing that, once we start posting about that, sharing it on your story, sharing it on your Facebook, sharing it on your social media, raise awareness. We're going to try to get the local radio station out, the local counselor out. We're going to try to get the local TV station out again. So we're going to try to pump this up and make this even bigger than we made it last year, because last year's was very successful. Let's make this year even better than it was last year. May the 4th, be there, be square, and let's have a good time. I think that's it for me, though, sir. Is there anything else that you want to share before we sign off for the evening?
No, I mean, I think that's it for me. I mean, next week is literally Comic-Con. Sorry, Toronto Comic-Con. So I'm gonna be quiet. The more quieter every time. Yeah, I can't wait, man. This is gonna be fun. We're on the main floor again. We're in the community zone with all the other community booths like last year. I've got a new cosplay that I'm debuting this year. Now, unfortunately, he won't be quite done to the point where I want him to be, but he's done enough that I'll be wearing him. Yeah, I think that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for watching again tonight. If you, again, haven't clicked any of that, like, subscribe, follow, whatever button that you're seeing in whatever platform you're watching or listening to us, please click it. It really, really helps us out. Leave us a rating. Check us out on Spotify. We want to try to get the actual podcast growing on the actual podcast platform. So make sure you go check us out. Give us a follow and a rating. That really, really helps us out a lot. I do think, however, is it going to be it for this week?
I think that's going to be it for this week.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay geeky. We're going to see you at Comic-Con. Sorry, Toronto Comic-Con.
For fuck's sakes.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, to make sure you never miss an